As we go through life, we all embark on this process of accumulation. We accumulate materials, whether it's clothes, jewelry, cars, electronics, what have you. We also accumulate relationships or friendships with coworkers, family, or friends. And at the same time, we accumulate ideas and thoughts and opinions that we form over time. Now, as the years go on, these people, these things, these ideas or thoughts, they accumulate, they pile up. And sometimes it gets to the point where we have too much. We can't handle everything that we have on our plate. So what do we do when this happens? When we may feel overwhelmed, or we may feel like it's just too much clutter in our life. To be honest, we have a choice in the matter. We always have a choice. We can either allow ourselves to continue down that process of accumulation, or we can start to remove anything and everything that doesn't serve us. Anything that doesn't serve you, and anything that doesn't serve me. I used to think that removing anything that didn't serve me just applied to materials, whether it was clothes or jewelry or electronics. I felt that if I had too much of that stuff, I needed to purge, I needed to get rid of it because it just didn't serve me, having X amount of jeans or X amount of sneakers in my closet, because it was just too much. I can only wear one pair of jeans at a time or one pair of sneakers at a time. So why have this many? And it cuts down on a lot of this thinking about what to wear or what you're gonna look like when you go out. When you limit your choices, you realize that you actually don't need that much stuff. And it becomes liberating, it becomes freeing, because you're just not attached to that certain outfit or that certain piece of jewelry. And you get by quite fine without it. It's just getting past that initial phase of thinking that, what will I do if I don't have this? What will I wear? How will I tie this outfit together? It's these pretty random and eccentric thoughts that we think when we are trying to purge and get rid of a lot of these materials, because there's just this attachment that we need to break. And once we do, we can remove all these items, all these materials from our life that don't serve us, that don't truly need to be in our life. And once we do, our life in terms of, what we wear or how we present ourselves to the world through our clothing becomes a lot easier. It becomes a lot more freeing. But this concept of removing anything that doesn't serve us also applies to people. It also applies to relationships, whether it's family or extended family that's in our life, or coworkers or friends. These relationships that we accumulate throughout our life can start to become overwhelming. We can start to feel like we have an overabundance of these relationships in our life. Now, when we start to grow, start to evolve, or even just start to better ourselves, we come to this scary and frightening realization that some of these people and some of these relationships don't serve us anymore. This doesn't mean that this person or this relationship is bad. It very well could just mean that you've grown apart. You have different opinions and views and thoughts on things, and possibly different goals that you want to obtain. And in order for you to grow and evolve and become a better version of yourself, you might need to remove this relationship. You might need to remove this person. And that's not always that simple. It's not always that easy. Because this person might play an integral role in your life, or might be a big part of your life. But you need to understand that you're not the same person that you were when you met. than you are present day. So you can continue this relationship that doesn't serve you, or you can make that hard decision. You can make that decision for you, to better you, and possibly remove this person or remove this relationship from your life. That is on you. That is for you to decide and for you to make a conscious effort to figure out what's most important to you. Is it this relationship? Is it this person? Or is it you in order to grow and in order to evolve? Because although this relationship or this person might not be bad, there are times when a person or relationship is very, very toxic. It is very bad. It does nothing for your life, and it just brings you down and almost stunts your growth because you allow this person, you allow this relationship to stay in your life. And that needs to stop. That does not serve you. And that situation and that person need to be removed because it will not help you further your path along your journey and will not help you evolve because they are in a totally different space, a totally different mindset than where you are, or at least where you're trying to go. Because if you have these goals and these things that you want to achieve, and you have this toxic relationship, this toxic person in your life that is almost like a ball and chain just holding you down. They're like quicksand and they're just not allowing you to be the best version of yourself, allowing you to grow, then that needs to be removed. Because if it doesn't, then you're gonna stay here when you can be here or even higher. So you really need to think about that. There are times when a person or relationship just needs to be removed because it just doesn't serve you. You guys have just grown apart. It happens. It's life. But there's also people or relationships that are extremely toxic that need to be removed because it's a negative influence on your life. And you know that if you want to grow, and I'm saying this a lot, grow and evolve, but if you really, truly want to grow and evolve and be better than you were the day before, that needs to stop. That needs to be removed because it does not serve you anymore in any way, shape, or form. And finally, but definitely not any less important than talking about removing people and removing materials from our life, I need to speak about removing thoughts and opinions and ideas that don't serve us anymore. I can't remember the exact numbers, but when I was in India, we spoke to this yogi, and he was telling us about this study that they conducted about how many thoughts that we have per day. And I think it was around 60 or 70,000. It could be more than that. It's definitely not less. So we have around 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day. Do you want to know how many of those thoughts are negative? It's around 2/3. That's a ton of negative thoughts that we have in our head throughout the course of one day. So if we are constantly thinking and having these ideas and opinions that are negative about the world, about other people, or about ourselves, is it really serving us? Is it really allowing us to grow and to evolve? Or is it extremely toxic, extremely limiting on allowing us to be better versions of ourselves? Because the mind is extremely strong. It can pretty much make you feel a certain way even when you know it's not helping you, it's not serving you. So to become aware of these negative thoughts, these negative ideas, these negative opinions that don't serve us, that don't help us progress, they need to be removed. They need to be acknowledged and let go. But at the same time, we need to start to train ourselves, create habits that these thoughts, these negative thoughts, don't even enter our brain. It's going to happen because thoughts just like to pop in, regardless of our allowing it or our permission. But lessening that 2/3 number, a percentage, can help us tremendously, help us immensely in becoming better versions of ourselves, because we will be focusing less of our attention on the negative, which will allow way more space for us to focus on the positive. And just remember, removing anything that doesn't serve us should be addressed in 3 different aspects. We should focus on removing materials, people or relationships, and these negative thoughts that do not serve us anymore. Because if we allow them to stay in our life, then they will only hold us back. They will only limit us and our potential to be the best versions of ourselves. They will tie us down and make us feel like we are sinking in quicksand, when we know that our potential, we know that we have these goals that we can obtain. So give yourself a chance. Really start to focus and be mindful and be aware and conscious of materials that don't serve you, people or relationships that might not serve you anymore, or these negative thoughts that we build up in our head that just aren't doing us any good. And if we can start to focus a little at a time on these 3 areas and just start to remove and shed away all the stuff that doesn't serve us, we will see the growth. We will see the evolution, and we will realize that we're much better off today than we were yesterday. Realizing that I needed to remove so many things in my life that didn't serve me was life-changing. Because for so many years, I accumulated materials and people and relationships and all these negative thoughts in my head. And it really left me feeling down and sad and angry and frustrated and pretty much not enjoying life. But when I truly understood how to remove things that didn't serve me anymore, I started to feel freedom. I started to feel happy. And I started to feel like I could truly enjoy life. So I know if it worked for me, it can work for you. It can work for everybody. It just takes a little time. It takes a lot of effort, but it also takes you to understand that you need to make these changes. So make them. Show up for yourself. Allow yourself to live the life that you should be living, instead of the one that might make you feel miserable or sad or just like you're going through the motions. Give yourself that chance. You deserve it, and you owe it to yourself. Have a blessed day, everybody. Have an amazing day. Be grateful. Always be grateful for the moment, and smile. I'll see you soon. Peace.